How can the tanking experience in Marvel Rivals be improved? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your left ear enjoys this video, and I am a tank player. Although I'm putting some Adam right here in the background because I got a little bored of playing tank this season in particular. And normally I enjoy playing tank. I'm one of those weird, strange people who gets a dopamine hit from blocking damage. Like, oh, the sound of damage being mitigated while I'm playing thing is just the best thing in the world. But I've always been playing tank. I've been playing tank for years in Overwatch, in this game. I think it must be now probably like at least 3-4 years now. And there are a lot of things in this game that make tanking feel really good, and there are some things that make it feel absolutely miserable. Miserable, I tell you. So I just wanted to go over some things as a tank player, as a longtime tank player, as to what I think would improve the experience of tanking in this game. So, first and foremost, what is the tank role? The tank role is the game sense role, in my opinion. If you're good at the game, but you can't aim, then you should play tank. Tanking is for you, because knowing when to rotate around, knowing when a team fight is happening. I mean, that's the whole experience of being a tank. When you're more hyper aware of the state of a team fight as a tank than you are in any other role, right? Like even as a support, sometimes, like if your job is just to support whatever your tank or whatever your DPS is doing, you're not always in tune with what the entire fight looks like. Maybe you're just kind of focused on whoever needs the most attention, right? But it becomes frustrating as a tank player when the rest of your teammates don't have at least some level of awareness. So that could kind of come down to the ranking system in this game. Raise your hand if you're Celestial. Fucking everybody, right? Like there are a lot of people who are kind of boosted or are in ranks that don't really belong in, because you can climb by playing really shit characters, or you can climb on a DPS by not missing, right? Or on support by literally just existing, right? By playing any character that's not Adam or Ultron. Me. But that's just something that's gonna, I think over time kind of work itself out. You can't really. You'd have to rework the entire matchmaking system at this point to get some real good value out of that. So that's not something that I think can entirely be addressed today or tomorrow, right? But the absolute worst part about playing the tank role in this game is CC Rivals. Oh my God! Why does Iron Fist's fourth kick cancel abilities? Like, that's so stupid. So there's too many things in this game that are hard CC. And here's the thing, almost everything is a hard CC, right? Because it's not, for example, when you get knocked back, that doesn't just knock you back, it cancels your ability, right? If it were just the knockback, it'd be fine, but no, for some reason it needs to cancel abilities, right? So I think as a tank, there should be something that's similar to Overwatch, where not every tank gets it, but it's a role passive where certain characters have a stacking CC resistance or debuff resistance. I think would probably be a little bit better, because oh my gosh, getting double blinded by cloak and then getting blinded again less than 4 seconds later. I mean, it's miserable. It's so stupid. So I think, in my opinion, there should be some type of CC resistance, debuff resistance, where the first instance of CC does 100% damage. The second instance does 80%. The third instance does 50%, which honestly, 80% might not even be like enough because of how much CC is in this game, right? Maybe it should be 100% to 60% to 40% or something like this. At least something that's a little bit more noticeable, right? To make it less incentivizing on just stacking like blind CC on a tank over and over and over again, right? So that way, and make it so that it's only on the tanks, right? So that if you do want to double blind, I don't know, maybe like a Spidey or a DPS or something, you get a little bit more value off of using your abilities on them over just spamming it on a tank in which you're not going to miss your ability on for the most part. So that would hopefully make it a little bit more bearable as a tank to actually do your role. Now I'll get into like what this means for some characters over others, right? I don't think this should be like a universal thing, but I just feel like this would be a good idea for characters like Magneto, for characters like Emma, possibly, Strange. Next should be some type of knockback reduction as well. Especially in, I think the worst example of this is Invisible Woman. So actually, I'm gonna stop my gameplay here real quick for a second, and I'm gonna show you guys, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. As an Invis player, you probably don't. You don't think that it's that bad, but as literally every other character in the game, playing against an Invis just sucks. Just sucks. It's just, it's just the worst. I can complain about this character all day, but when this character came out, I actually thought that she was like actually really really fun, because she had a really dynamic way of playing. Right, you don't just have to heal bot in the back. Right, you can push pull and do all that stuff. But the thing is, her push pull works from 35 meters away. Right, so this is when you're 35 meters away, your supports are right here. Your tanks are right here. The enemy tanks are right here. Their backline is back here, right? So like you have an ability that has a ridiculous amount of impact where in a position where there is zero risk to you, right? So this, and not only that, when you pull someone, it's 5 meters, right? But when you push somebody, again, as a tank, where you're pretty much never gonna miss, I think they just nerfed the ability from 8 to 10 seconds. That wasn't even the problem. When you get pushed, it's 10 meters. And I just think that first of all, the range is way too far. The push is way too far. They should both be 5 meters. And they should add some risk to using this push or pull ability. I think that this needs to be 20 meters. Right? Like, if you want to get up in a tank's face and actually, like, push and pull them, there needs to be some risk to the invis. Right? Because, like, fuck, she already has a self-shield. She already has a double jump. She already has healing during her invisibility. Right? Like, I feel like the character's in a state right now. If you're not going to take away her self-shield, she can absolutely risk being 20 meters away and being able to push and pull. And, like, I understand the dynamics of this ability, but like if you're using it like you're getting dove or something like that, you can still use it from 20 meters and be effective, right? This is just at 35 meters, it literally just works to grief the tank, right? It's just there's no other purpose of it, because if it had any other purpose, it would be a lot closer and the push wouldn't be so far. So yeah, Invisible Woman CC is just insane, and then plus the self shield. She shouldn't have it at all. This was probably one of the worst mistakes I think I've seen them ever make. But at least take away the slow, bro. If you're not gonna take away your self shield, take away the slow. It already does. It already blocks damage. It already heals. Take away the slow. That just makes it because when you're fighting and the Invis decides to shield the front line, sure, it's not maybe the smartest thing in the world to do, because the shield's gonna break pretty easily. But good Invises will cycle it, right? Like they'll flash it on their tank for a little bit. They'll slow the front line a little. They'll do this shit, and then you can't move so fast, and it's just stacking CC over and over and over again. So there's just some egregious CC and knockbacks that are just so overbearing in this game that, because you're a tank on the front line and it's impossible to miss you, like, you're always getting hit with these abilities, right? Another thing that's kind of bullshit in this game, I think everybody knows, is Elsa ult. There is no reason that you should be able to get grabbed by this and then just have to put your controller down. All right, like, I already made a full video on this. I feel that for this to be balanced, for her ult to be balanced, you need to be able to shoot during your ult. Like, this is just ridiculous. It's really silly, right? There's no counterplay once you've gotten hit. And I've heard some people say, just don't get hit by it. Like, but it's not that simple, right? Like, this shit is instant. This shit is instant. And the thing is that once the support ultimate goes up, which happens every 2 seconds in this game, positioning kind of goes out the window, right? Like you have to stand in a certain area to make use of the support ultimate, which good Elsa Bloodstones are going to take advantage of, right? So you can't just say don't get hit by it, right? You might as well just say don't play the game, right? I mean, it's just there needs to be counterplay when you're grabbed by this. I know they already made this the radius of it a little bit shorter, but man, it's just any ability that makes you might as well put your controller down just needs to get out. I feel like the game would be a lot healthier this way. Also, tanks like Thing and Groot are for some reason not immune to Elsa ult. That needs to change. Their whole shtick is that they are supposed to be immune to these type of abilities, right? To knockbacks, to displacement abilities and stuff like that. And so if you're gonna market the game that way, you need to make it accurate, right? It's the same thing with Emma, right? Oh, the interaction with Spider-Man where he can just kind of hop halfway across the map and just pull you. Now, I don't play Spider-Man, and a lot of Spider-Man players say, "Hey, play the character a little bit so you don't complain a little bit." I can't, or I understand. I understand the point that they're trying to make. The thing is, Doomfist exists in Overwatch, right? And that's the same thing with that character, right? The character takes a lot of skill. And I'm a Doomfist main. Fuck, I have 500 hours on Doomfist in Overwatch, but there are some things in that game that I totally understand that since that because of the way that Doomfist is designed and his insane mobility and shit like that he could just do things that no other character can. Same thing with this guy. Why is he able to pull people from halfway across the map? Right, and then push them off the map. I feel like it should automatically break once you travel past that 20-meter threshold, right? Because if it's so that you can't grab somebody from 25 meters away, why should you be able to travel more than 25 meters? You understand what I'm saying? So it's just one of those bullshit mechanics, and it works kind of, you know. I don't like the way it works. Oh, and there's also one really stupid interaction with Thing, right, in particular. So let's look at Thing here. Where is the Thing? Here it is. So when you web him up, he stays webbed up for like 2 full seconds, right? So normally you're as a tank, when you get webbed up, when you see Spider-Man pull his arm backwards, the web animation ends and you're free to move, right? But Thing stays webbed up for an extra second. That's a stupid interaction. I feel like they need to remove that because it's just, you know, another thing that makes playing tank miserable in this game. Bucky being able to grab like 4 or 5 people is stupid. I feel like that shouldn't be, like, I feel like the character would work just fine if he could just grab one, right? Just because you're clumped up doesn't mean that he should be able to grab everybody. I mean, he only has fucking 5 fingers. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And you need 2 of them, and you need one thumb, right, to make a grip, right? That's how humans work, apparently. Okay, maybe you can make the argument it's a robot armor que la chingada, but come on now. The character would work just fine if his grab was only able to grab one person and not like everybody, right? So that, again, another bullshit interaction, another bullshit CC. Most of these have to do with CC. Double blind is stupid. I thought that it wouldn't be as obnoxious as it is, but it's really bad. So you blind someone, boom, boom. All right, you blind somebody again, boom, boom. And then you get it again in like another 5 seconds. Then by this time you've taken insane amounts of damage. And then you blind somebody again, boom, boom, right? You get 3 blinds in less than 15 seconds. I mean, that's insane. That is insanity, and it does damage. So it's just, again, if you get that stacking debuff resistance where the first blind is 100%, the second blind is only 60%, it wouldn't be. It would hurt a little bit less. But yeah, there's just so many things. Now every tank requires different needs. You would kind of have to categorize tanks based off of their playstyle, right? Like you have Strange, you have Magneto, and you have Emma, who are for the most part frontliners. So you have Shield, right? You're for the most part playing on point, on the objective, etc., etc. You're not really using a ton of mobility, right? So I feel like again, this already exists in Overwatch based on the playstyle, but a knockback resistance would be really, really nice, right? Because they're right in front of everybody. Everybody can see them. They're usually they're usually the ones taking the most amount of pressure out of anybody on the team. They're where all the CC gets directed, etc. So I feel like they're the ones who should have the most CC resistance. Now, characters like Captain America, who obviously are weak to CC and grounding effects, characters like Angela and stuff like that, they still need to be weak to CC and grounding. That's not too big of an issue. Because you can't just make a character like, Phoenix and Hela where they have no weaknesses, right? So this character would probably need different needs, right? Maybe, I don't know, the debuff resistance doesn't apply to them as much, but they get, I don't know, maybe some sort of self-healing, right? When they're out of combat or something like that. I don't know, something small, right? It's something that could help facilitate the playstyle that they're meant to give. Then we have brawlers like Thing, Thor, Rogue, and stuff like that, right? These people could have different abilities. Maybe by hitting your abilities, you get some overhealth, right? Like you already do with the Thing, or maybe you, I don't know, convert. You get cooldown reduction as you land abilities or something like that. I don't know. Every tank in this game should have some sort of passive that helps them kind of mitigate the obnoxious parts of being a tank. Now, and it shouldn't be too much because it becomes oppressive, right? Like imagine if Angela had 40% CC resistance or something like that, right? Like it would make the character unkillable, right? The characters still need to have some weaknesses. But yeah, these are the things that I feel like would help the tanking experience, at least right now. I'm sure there's more that I can think of or that other people can think of. But man, there's nothing more miserable than getting knocked back 20 fucking meters by an invis just because she pushes you down some stairs. I'm a Magneto. I got my life alert on me and shit. It just sucks. It just sucks. So, anyways, if y'all have any other ideas, these are just kind of temporary, kind of small, conceptual ideas that I've seen in other games and that honestly would help feel a lot better, right? It would make the tanking experience just so much less miserable. Because honestly, I like tanking in this game. When you play tank, you actually feel like a tank. Now it kind of has to do with a lot of with the fact that there's a ton of healing and you can kind of position everywhere and not kind of be punished by it. But when you actually know how to position well, and you don't get blown up, every 2 seconds, playing tank is fun. Playing tank is real fun. But yeah, anyways, if y'all have any other comments or questions, please leave them in the description below. I'd love to hear it. Have a good rest of your day.